I saw a rumor on the internet that the Knicks should trade Julius Randle and Kemba Walker for Gordon Hayward. So we're going to be breaking it down on today's show, but an easy question to get us started. Who would you rather have on the Knicks next year? If it's Julius Randle, go down and type JR in the comments section. Or if it's Gordon Hayward, you can go down and type GH. Welcome into New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. And in today's show, we're going to talk about the trade rumors surrounding Julius Randle and Gordon Hayward. So should the Knicks, in the NBA offseason coming up in a couple of months, should they trade Julius Randle and the new salary and the new contract they just gave him prior to this season for Gordon Hayward of the Charlotte Hornets? We're going to break it all down in today's show. But this idea and this rumor came from Fadeaway World, which is like a rumors NBA type of site. They put all different kind of rumors out there. So I saw this and I was like, you know what? We're going to break it down on today's show. The Knicks, they would send Julius Randle and Kemba Walker, clearing his $8.5 million salary in a trade to the Charlotte Hornets in return for Gordon Hayward. I want you to get in the comments section and let me know who were to win this trade if it were to go down. The Knicks, they get Hayward. We're going to talk about him and all the injury stuff that's been following him throughout his NBA career. If you think it's the Knicks, go down and type NYK. Or if you think the Charlotte Hornets and MJ win this trade, you can go down and type CHA for the Charlotte Hornets. You get Julius, you get Kemba. Sound off in the comments section, NYK or CHA. And remember, while you're down there, go down and hit that big red button. Because here at Chat Sports, we cover the NFL and the NBA, and our Giants Now channel is trying to get to 7.5 thousand subscribers. I host that over there. You can go to youtube.com/NYGiantsTV to give us a subscription. I'll put that in the comments and the description of today's video. But I want to catch them. I want to get to 7.5 thousand subscribers ASAP here on New York Knicks Now, because the rule at Chat Sports is more subscribers equals more videos. And I want to do daily videos here around the New York Knicks. So go down right now and hit that big red button so we can catch up to Giants Now. When you think about Gordon Hayward and the type of player he is, when he's available, he's a great player. But the thing is, he's played in just 92 games in the past 2 seasons, right over about 50% each season. He's always out of the lineup, and he's going to be 33 next year. So the injuries, they're starting to tack on, and Mother Nature is starting to catch up to Gordon Hayward. He's a good player. I like him a lot. We'll show some stats in a couple of minutes. But when you look at his contract, it's very similar to the Julius Randle contract, and that's why the trade would work out money-wise. This past year, Gordon Hayward made about $30 million. Next year, he's going to make $30 million. And the year after that, $31.5 million. And for a player that averaged 16 points last year and 4.5 rebounds to go along with about 3.5 assists while shooting 46% from the field and almost 40% from deep, those are good numbers. The thing is, the old saying, the best ability is availability, and Gordon Hayward hasn't been that. When he's healthy, when he's on the hardwood, when he's playing minutes, he's a good basketball player. The thing is, he's only played in more than 70 games one time since 2018. You got to be on the court. The Knicks, they can't afford to trade, even if it's Julius Randle, someone whose trade value is kind of low right now. You can't afford to trade him for a player. I mean, Julius Randle, he's usually on the court. The past 2 seasons, he's played over 70 games. You can't trade up that type of player, a reliable player, someone that's healthy. And Julius Randle, even though I'm not a big fan of him if you follow the show, for a guy like Gordon Hayward, who's rarely on the court, someone that hasn't played in 70 games since 2018. I love Hayward. We'll talk more about him and what I think he would bring for the Knicks. The thing is, the Knicks are not in a position to trade for a player that's going through injury woes, and at this point in his career is an injury-prone player. But I want to kind of shift gears and ask you this question. We'll get back to the Gordon Hayward for Julius Randle rumors in a second. But let me know, who were you rooting for last night in the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs? Was it the Celtics or was it the Nets? I saw someone tweet, someone that covers the New York Knicks, say, you're not a real New Yorker if you're not rooting for the Nets. And I agree with that 0%. Totally disagree. I hate the Brooklyn Nets. There's no such thing as a Brooklyn Nets fan, and I hate the Boston Celtics. I was hoping they could finish in a tie and the game never end. But answer that for me. Who are you rooting for, the Celtics or the Nets? I'm really curious where you all stand. When it comes to Gordon Hayward and Julius Randle, I think Randle is a better player right now. He's younger, and he has a little bit more upside to the type of player that he can bring. I think Gordon Hayward right now, though, is a better fit for the New York Knicks than Julius Randle. Randle's value is at an all-time low when you come to think about it in a trade that were to net someone like Gordon Hayward. I think Randle's better. He's younger. He's more available. The thing is, what Julius Randle did this past year in the 72 games he played, he took a huge step back compared to what he did in 2020 and 2021, where he led the Knicks to the 4th seed in the East, and they got beat by the Atlanta Hawks in the playoffs. He was the most improved player in the National Basketball Association, a top 8 MVP guy, whereas this year he shot 41% from the field, and that's what he shot last year from beyond the three-point arc. I like Julius Randle a lot. I also like Gordon Hayward a lot. The thing is, you can't trade a player like Julius Randle. No matter how much we hate him for unfollowing the Knicks on Instagram, for slapping a laptop out of an assistant coach's hand, to having $163,000 in fines this year, for not meshing with teammates, you can't trade someone like that for a player like Gordon Hayward. I think Gordon Hayward is actually a better fit for the Knicks right now. The Knicks, they could use some veteranship, some mentorship for all the young wings they have on this roster. But at the end of the day, I just think the Knicks would come out losers in this trade, and I'm hoping, maybe it's just the fan in me, that the Knicks can get more back in a Julius Randle trade. But speaking of Julius, do you think he's going to be on the New York Knicks come NBA opening night next season? I think this is going to be an awesome offseason for the New York Knicks. I finally think they're going to go out there and get the point guard of the future, someone they haven't had for a very long time. But this question about Julius Randle, will he be on the Knicks next year? Type Y for yes, or you can go down and type N for no if you don't think he will. One thing I know I'm going to be using during the 2022 and the 2023 NBA season is our proud sportsbook partner, BetUS. When you go to chatsports.com/bet and plug in the promo code chat125 and then deposit $100, they will match that with a 125% deposit bonus. You can get started today, right now, if you go to chatsports.com/bet, and you can bet on the playoff games. Maybe you want to bet on the Brooklyn Nets or bet on the Boston Celtics. Just do it with BetUS. Go to chatsports.com/bet and don't forget the promo code chat125. In my opinion, when I think about this trade on every single layer, the Knicks, they could use a veteran wing. I would like to see Gordon Hayward in an offense with R.J. Barrett, teaching young guys like Quentin Grimes, and maybe, being a mentor and a big brother type of teammate to someone like Cam Reddish. The Knicks, they have a lot of young wings on this roster that could learn a thing or two from Gordon Hayward. Hayward, he would provide leadership because that's what he is. He's a leader. He's been through the ringer. He's had a career-ending potential injury that he's come back from. He hasn't quite necessarily reached that same status that he once was, but he's still a solid player in the NBA. And he would provide a winning mindset for the New York Knicks. He was a winner at college. He was a winner with the Utah Jazz. They won when he was a part of the Boston Celtics. I know they didn't win a title, but he was still a good player that has a winning spirit and a winning type of play style to him. And I think a roster or a starting lineup next year of Emmanuel Quickley, R.J. Barrett, Gordon Hayward, Obi Toppin, and Mitchell Robinson, I don't hate it. I would love for Quickley to get more minutes. I think Quickley could learn from Hayward, just like I think Obi Toppin could learn from Gordon Hayward. And it would all matter if the Knicks could re-sign Mitchell Robinson this offseason. I think he's going to be looking for a bag, and the latest rumors are the Knicks and Robinson are nowhere close on a contract renegotiation or re-signing with the New York Knicks. But get in the comments section and let me know, what is your confidence in this starting five? Say this was the starting five for game 1 of the 82-game season for next season. Scale it from 1 to 10. 1 being I'm not confident at all. We'll probably be worse with this roster than what we had this year. Or 10 being this team's going 82-0. They're going to break the best regular season record in NBA history. Get down in the comments section and let me know. I appreciate everyone that's made New York Knicks Now a part of their day today. We can't do it without you guys. So go and hit that big red button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications to help us get to 6,000 subscribers, because more subs equals more videos. And the NBA offseason, it's coming up. It's coming fast. Just as we're in the playoffs, you'll blink, and then we'll be at the NBA draft, and then we'll be at NBA free agency, and we'll be breaking down all of the news and rumors leading up until then. So for the time being, lock us in so you can have free daily videos around the New York Knicks by going down and hitting that big red button.